I tried to stop it.
We always try.
We're still working on that. But coming to you from sunny Florida.
Wish I could say the same.
So just so everyone's aware, I know I chatted with a couple people online, and I've been not very available in the last day or so. I've been jumping on. I'd been called out of town kind of abruptly, so came down to Florida for a family. So we decided to keep the show going, and you can see I got a nice little backdrop here. The beautiful.
And that is not a green screen backdrop. That is the backdrop.
I left the 30-degree Chicago 4 inches of snow and flew down to 8. I arrived in like a sweat jacket and jeans and a long sleeve shirt in the 85 and sunny degree weather. Man, it is beautiful down in Florida. Holy smokes.
By the way, can you hear me okay? Because my mic's not plugged in. I just realized that. Whoops.
Yeah, I can hear you all right.
Okay, yep. Good. I'll just lean forward. That's nice. Whoa.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The weather's been awesome. I'm a little bit of a mess. We were a little bit of a scramble today. There was a lot going on. So we are going to cut the show a little bit short. We're going to go through the meal plan a few things, but we'll probably just cut it a little bit short today. We're a little bit unprepared with
this. New Year's Eve, so I'm sure everybody else has plans, and not sure anybody's tuning in right now. But
we got viewers.
Oh, we do?
19 viewers that are tuning. It's 3 o'clock on a Friday.
Right. And maybe people are off work right now, so maybe we'll have more viewers.
Yeah, you never know. So we decided to do the show. It's been a bit of a scramble. We literally just talked about 15 minutes ago, and it's like, let's get on and get the show going. So we'll go through a few things, and it'll be a little bit of a short.
How dedicated we are.
That's right. So I apologize for my disheveled look. If I look a little disheveled, I tried to.
Very handsome little bro.
I'm sweating like I'm sitting outside. I'm sweating. So today is New Year's Eve, last day of the year. Very exciting. It was a rather fast year, I feel.
For us, it really was. With SmartyPlants, we launched this year, so that's really exciting. That will be forever in our memory, this year.
2021, very important.
Was our launch, right.
The year seemed to go quick.
It did.
Yeah. So.
Well, they say the older you get, the quicker they go.
Yeah, I do notice that for sure. But either way, it was a better year than 2020 for sure, and a lot going on, and
Yeah, like we talked about last week, there is a lot going on, and that's life. It's like you have to take things in stride, just like we all took 2020 in stride. We're all still dealing with this pandemic. It's now the end of this year, and it seems like we're all still in it. Mm-hmm. I just feel like everyone I know is getting this virus now, even if they're vaccinated and have the booster. I know a lot of people. Luckily, it doesn't seem to be anything bad, for most people. Some people, though, it is. Like my friend Michael said, he was vaccinated, boosted, he still went to the hospital. So you just you don't know.
Right. I hear you.
So we're all still dealing with it. But I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, everyone just feel safe and keep yourself as healthy as you can. Again, I don't want to make the show political or anything. It shouldn't be political. It's a health crisis. But in the end, everyone just keep yourself as safe as you can. I was a little worried about traveling. We're on a plane. We tried to keep, I'm traveling with my mother and her husband and trying to keep everyone safe and staying away from everyone. And we got back home. Hopefully no one got sick. As soon as I got down here, my friend Joel's like, they're advising people not to travel at all, even if you're vaccinated. I'm like, I just landed in Florida. It's like, all right, we're dealing with it. We're all masked up and we're all good. So
that's kind of what I'm doing. It's like, well, I'm just rolling with it. I saw something on the news last night where it's like, if you walk into a bar, you're going to get COVID. I was like, oh my gosh. Not that I'm going, but we do have 21-year-old children, and keep tabs on them 24/7.
Yeah, my son's the wild card. He works at a restaurant. Well, although today's his last night. He got another job, so today's his last night.
I didn't know that. Oh, good.
Yeah. So it's and then he'll be just one person. He'll be working with a friend at his mom's shop, and they work at kind of off hours. So he's like, I won't be around anybody. So I'm like, oh, it's safer if nothing else. But I enjoyed working at the restaurant. It was just kind of challenging with the COVID and everything. But
it's so good to see him on Christmas. I missed my nephew.
Yeah, he was glad to see him. with all that work, and I mean, he worked Thanksgiving, he worked,
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, so he's just like, I'm not working Christmas Day. It's like his one
I'm
holiday
off.
day off. So, but hey, you get up, he's 17, and it's just like, what? Sometimes you have to work, and it's it stinks. Sometimes things come up, and you can't help it, and that's just the way life is sometimes.
And he's learning that now. We
Right,
all have to deal with that.
and
Sometimes you just have to work.
and to be honest, I mean, he's working in the service industry on a holiday, and it's just like, those are probably going to be some pretty heavy tipping days. Like, you probably be
True.
compensated
Yeah.
very well, for working. And he was, it's Christmas Eve, and he got some pretty good tips at the restaurant. So
Wait, did you say he was working tonight? No.
Tonight's his last, yeah.
Tonight's his okay. So he's working New Year's Eve.
Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know how many. I'm not there, so I wasn't sure how many reservations. He usually gives me like the update. 200 reservations, 300 reservations tonight. He tells me that. And of course, now it's just like, oh my God, 300 reservations. That's 600 to 800 people like coming through. It's
gosh,
I'm calculating the math in my head. Anyway, I don't want to get too involved in that.
Don't think about it. Right.
So another big thing. So we got the big groups starting again. We were running the groups kind of throughout the year. We took a pause on that in December because of the holidays. And I know people don't like to get involved in stuff right at the holidays and at the end of the year. So we kind of put a pause on the 28-day Kickstart groups to start them in the new year.
Right, especially learning to eat a new way.
Sure.
It's hard to do around the holidays.
In the new year, I mean, people are always looking for a change and resolutions, and that's why I did the resolution group. And after I put that out, I'm thinking, well, it's not really a resolution, but again, if you can look at it that way, it's just the name of the group. But in the end, I mean, I do resolutions every year, more or less just to better myself, like, hey, I want to try and work on this year or whatever. I don't like try to hold myself to, I'm gonna do this. And again, it's just like, all right, here's my goal for the year. Like I'm
okay, right. And Frank and I had to talk about this morning, and he is like, I'm not a resolution setter because he does not like to set it himself up. He thinks it's more like, you may fail. He doesn't like that whole thing. It's more like, I just want to think about this. He's like, yeah, I do think of it as a fresh start. And that's what I said. It's like, I think of it as I just do. It's like in my blood. Like it's a fresh start. It's a new year. What can I do? And I feel like that's what a lot of people think. What can I do to better myself, make myself healthier, happier, be a better person, whatever it is you want to do. I love the fresh start.
No.
And it's just like kind of like a Monday morning for me. I do feel like that on Mondays. Like, okay, a whole new week. I got a fresh week. What can I do? I do. I feel like that on Monday mornings. But
yeah. Than what most people feel. It's like, Monday morning.
So I think, yeah. I know. I'm a little bit of an optimist. But yeah, like I get what he's saying. I don't like that word only because not for our group. I think it's cute. It's fine. But it's like you just don't want it to be like, if you don't stick to them, then you're a failure.
Right,
January 23rd, it's all over. You're not exercising anymore.
Sure.
It's not really that. It's like I'm just trying to better my life. Think of it that way. Like I just want to make some changes in my life. And I told him this morning. I said, if I don't stick to mine, then it's like it's fine. I'm just kind of rolling with it. I don't want to think of it as a failure.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's really, I think it's good to have a plan, a fresh start.
Right. And sometimes it's like, just like with anything, like my walking, I was so into it. I was doing it every day without fail, get up. And then things come up and it's like, geez, it's busy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then it's like, geez, it's been 2 weeks. It's been 3. I haven't walked once or whatever it was,
Right.
And then it's just like, but I can get back into it. It's not like, well, I threw in the towel and I don't walk anymore. It's just like, no, I got to get back into it. But part of that is for me, it's like getting my head back in.
Right.
I am looking at the new year as like same thing, fresh start. I want to just reset myself and start on a plan. And you're right. If it doesn't come to fruition, if I don't do things every day, I don't look at it as a failure. It's like sometimes life comes up, just like with the groups. I know when I get the group together, I know I get a lot of people, and then a lot of people don't participate. And it's like, I had every intention. So I send out an email saying like, hey, we're going to do another group. If you're interested, we'd love to have you back. We know life gets in the way sometimes. And I do get a lot of emails back like, oh my God, you're so right. Life got in the way. Like I'm interested in the next group, so it does happen. So I look at it.
But also, like if you eat this way, I always think about this. Like if you eat this way, let's say for like 15 days, 16 days, and you're like, somebody recently said I didn't falter at all. I was right on the plan. Which we leave it like loosey goosey. There's no rules. You don't have to, but it was important to her. So she did it. And then like she had a setback, she said, and we always say this, it's not a setback, but then she did it for 10 more days. So, you know, you did it for like 26 days and one day you ate like a little bit of cheese or whatever it was. Look at it that way, not like I did it for 16 and then I failed, you know?
Right, yeah.
It's like, no, you did it mostly and you ate cheese one day, you know? I try to look at like all of this stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, and I do understand that, because even when I started, and I told you, I said, like, I will commit 100%, because if I don't, that's what it'll be, and it'll be like, well, I cheated yesterday, I cheat today. It's like, well, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
like I have to have both feet in, and it's like, all right, I'm going to lock in 28 days. You got me. And again, I'm just saying what my personal experience. So I do
You're
understand
good at
that.
that, though. You're good at that locking in thing. Like I'm doing it, I'm committed, and then there's like the drum is sealed, you know?
But I also know, like, when I falter, it's just like, okay, well, I've blown it, right? And then it's just like, well, then I may as well eat this, and I may as well eat that, because I've already, kind of screwed it up myself. So I do understand it, and I am trying to break myself of that mindset, because it's not. But I also want to say, like, well, if I hold true to things, I don't have to worry about that. It's just like I want to do that, and really, I got to say, the longer you do things, the easier it gets not to do those things. Like the longer you not do something, the easier it is not to do it anymore. Just like when I quit smoking, it's like I couldn't just casually have a cigarette once a month and be like, oh, I'm fine, just when I go out, because I knew I'd be smoking a pack a day in 2 weeks. So it's like I can't smoke anything. Whatever for whatever it took. I mean, I eventually had another cigarette, but it was like 7 years later. It's like like whatever. But
I know. And
by that time, it was all out of my system.
Drinking wine or just like drinking alcohol, it's like I try to get it out of my life because I just feel better. It's like the older I get, alcohol and I don't agree, and so I go like months without it, and it's really easy. It's not a thought anymore. Yeah. It's like, but then you fall into it and it just becomes like a habit. It's like, oh, that sounds good, I'm gonna have some wine, and then the next night, oh yeah, let me a glass or two, and it just becomes this like everyday kind of draggy from the wine. And as soon as you make it not a habit, then you feel fresh every day, and then you go like months and months and I don't even think about it. It's so interesting how that happens.
It's even coming down here, and it's funny because now I'm almost, not that I'm making excuses, but like I'm at my mom's and we're here, and she's like, you're going to have to go shopping. So whatever, I'm shopping and whatever. And I'm like, oh, she has vegan mayonnaise and they have vegan butter. You're like, you want some butter on that toast? It's like, it's the last day of the year. You're darn right I want some butter. I'm like, oh, the Hellman's vegan mayonnaise. I haven't had that yet. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a try. I'm like, today's the 31st. I'm like, by the end of the day, I'm like,
it's that mindset setting in.
I had some potato chips for lunch. I bought some smoky, not smoky, baked tofu, and I made a sandwich or whatever. I just got it. Like last night, we just ran out. I'm like, I'm not going to do.
Oh, you bought some tofu? You found it? Smoked tofu?
Yeah, they had the baked. We went to Publix or whatever. They have actually quite a bit of stuff, whatever. So it's like I'm going to be here for a while. I'm like, I just need some stuff for like tonight to make a sandwich or something, and like tomorrow morning just to get a bagel or just something. I don't want to. It was a long day of travel, and whatever. At the end of the day, it's like, let's just run 5 minutes in and out. I'll grab a couple of things or whatever. And she's like, we should get some cheese. We should get some. We'll get cheese for us, but we'll get some cheese and some crackers. Maybe we'll sit outside. I'm like, all right, well, I'll get these. And then she's like, how about potato chips? And I'm like, fine.
Oh, okay.
Like, that'll go good. That vegan mayonnaise you got.
Oh, no. You're dipping potato chips in the vegan mayonnaise.
But it's like, but that's the trap I fall into. Now it's like, okay, what's the last day of the year? Yeah, I'm going to have some potato chips. I'm going to have some vegan mayonnaise. That's fine. But my plan, and we'll get to it after the thing of like, I need to exercise more. I want to get back into everything. I want to roll with it, have a little fun. I'm here. New Year's Eve. It is what it is. But it's like, all right.
It's beautiful. You got a pool behind you.
I know. Rich is like, you probably go swimming. I'm like, I didn't even bring my trunk. I didn't bring swim trunk.
You don't need trunks.
I have a suitcase full of long pants. I'm like, I didn't even know it was going to be in the 80s. Like, I just quickly packed, and it's like, I need some pants. Yeah. I thought it'd be like in the 60s, like the low 60s. I thought, oh, it'd be nice. It'll be like springtime.
You did not know you were walking into summer.
I almost had a stroke when I walked off that plane. I was like, oh my God, it's so hot. It's like so humid and hot.
Wow.
But it's nice. I mean, it's beautiful. The weather's beautiful. But
well, it's warmer here too, so it must be warmer down there.
Well, it's warmer. I gotta say. So the resolution group, like I was saying, we start on Monday, so it's exciting. We got a lot of people in the group, which is awesome. I'm super excited. We got a lot of different people. I know a few people kind of started some subgroups. I had talked to some admins of kind of some smaller groups, and they kind of started some subgroups, which is pretty cool. And I know a few people got like their friends in, which it's fun when you have different people kind of participating.
Yeah.
There's a lot of activity. People are talking. I know people are kind of asking me a lot of questions before it starts. That's what the group is for too. So with the Facebook group, if you join the Facebook group, don't be afraid to post questions. Not only are other people kind of going through this, I know some people are going through it again. They either started and tried it before, they dabbled in it a little, or they watched other people go through it, or they've already been through it and now they stayed on and they kind of hang out on the board and post. And so I am looking forward to a lot of activity on the board come January. Don't feel awkward or shame. Any pictures you post or your food, we're looking for all that. The more people interact, the better of an experience it is as we kind of go through this day after day. We'll also, Judy makes a daily post every day. So again, it's the New Year's resolution group. We're calling this first one. And Judy will make a post every day addressing the New Year's resolution groups. There might be other posts. So if you see anything kind of addressed to the New Year's resolution group, that's what we're doing. It's kind of addressed to you. I also do kind of a Monday check-in in the morning and the afternoon. I try to keep that consistent. Just sometimes I'm making food, sometimes I'm just talking. It really just depends on kind of what's going on for that day. I'm going to be in Florida probably at least for the next week, possibly two. So I might be possibly talking, possibly making something. We haven't made
it from there.
Yeah, we haven't made a full plan here yet. It was again kind of a whirlwind. But
I planned on making the pizza crust video this week, but
good.
And this week.
I thought you said I plan on it. You plan.
Well, I do. Maybe what's tomorrow? Is tomorrow Saturday? Yeah, tomorrow Saturday. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, maybe tomorrow, New Year's Day. I will do it. I will do it soon. I don't know. Maybe some of our meal planners have made the pizza, but nobody's posted about it yet.
Right.
So I feel like I need to get on and show them how easy it is and how quick it is, and just kind of like the little tricks that since I did it so many times, just what I've learned. So I wish I would have done it this week. This week was a crazy week, so no.
Yeah.
But I will maybe tomorrow, maybe the next few days.
And if anyone watching this has, contact me or we're talking about, like, I know last week I was saying the same thing. It's like, well, it's the holidays. I'll talk to you next week. Not people in the groups are important, not super important stuff that's hanging out there, but it's just like, man, this week was another kind of whirlwind. So it's like, oh, there's just so much going on. But I'll get back to everybody. I got situated here last night, and I tried to answer as many people as I could. This morning, we got up early to do the meal plan, and then right after that, I was kind of going through messages and emails and things like that. So if you're waiting to hear from me, sit tight. I'm still kind of going through everything and just making sure I get everybody covered.
I know. And I have somebody that I'm going to work with because she's allergic. Do you remember that one woman? I'm sorry if she's watching. I can't remember her name. I think it might be Maria, but she has a lot of allergies, and I'm going to work with her. And I've been, I'm like, I'm getting to you. I didn't forget about you, but she's starting with the group. So I have to get to that this weekend.
Sure.
But yeah. Just like working with people too, and, getting everybody ready for it. I need to make sure I remember to do that.
So the resolution group, check in, use the board to kind of check in daily. The site is going to, once we unlock, so Monday we're going to click the unlock button, the plan will unlock, and then every day there's going to be new lessons in the plan. Like I said, daily Judy kind of makes a post and just does a little brief update on what's going on. You can use the board for questions and things. We also have a different plan, which is the weekly meal planners. So if you hear us referring to the weekly meal planners, that's just kind of an ongoing thing. It's just a totally separate plan. I know sometimes people get confused. People also post recipes of what they're making in the other meal plan. So if you see weekly meal planners or people talking about their part of the weekly meal plan, that's a totally separate plan. So I just don't want people to get confused. I know that happens quite a bit. So you may hear that, or we may be directing some comments or some posts to the weekly meal planners. And that's what we're going to go in right now. So just very briefly, every week, the weekly meal planners get new recipes, at least 3 new recipes there. Sometimes there's more. And then in this show, we try to do every Friday, or we've been doing every Friday. I was even going to ask you, Jude, I'll ask you. We'll talk about it after. Yeah. I've been meaning to talk to you about it. I was thinking like we can just do a Friday recap of the meal plan real quick and then do the show like on another day. like a Wednesday night or something. Because I know a lot of people.
Because then the meal planners could just tune in for that.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Have to click through the video to see that's probably a good idea.
I have a note to talk to you about that, but so just keep that in mind. And maybe we can do it like a Wednesday night when people are off work. Because I know it's another thing. A lot of people are like, I'm never home on Friday. Like, I can't tune in on a Friday afternoon.
But I think it's good. But it's good for the meal planners to hear it Friday when they come out.
Right.
And they can plan and shop. Yeah,
correct.
That's a good idea.
All right, so we'll think about it. So we might be splitting this out, and again, it's just another little brief. It'll be quick on Friday, and then we can concentrate on more topic stuff on the show itself. So either way, so on Fridays right now, we're going to just go through the meal plan real quick. That was just released. As I said, we release the meal plan every Friday, so we just released it this morning. So I'm on one screen. Again, anyone that use multi-screens to work, man, it is, you never know how much how much easier it is to do until you get one screen. Man, I am just working off this one laptop, and it is brutal. So
I have 3 massive screens, and that's what I'm used to. I put like one here, one there, and it's like when I go to my laptop, I'm just like, how does anyone do this?
I know.
I have editor friends who edit on a laptop. I just don't know how they do that.
Not only that, but like it's tiny. It's like this is like my chair. I'm like I'm increasing the resolution so everything's huge. It's like then nothing fits on the screen.
Okay, so we're gonna bear with you on this.
So like this, I'm like trying to run the show on one screen, and then I have to kind of bring up the other. So I'm going to go share screen, and it's kind of sharing the same screen. So I just don't want to like, I don't know, just show all this stuff on my screen here, which is like notes and everything else. So we
just want to see the orange chicken.
I hear you. So let me just give me one sec while I try to get this. Okay, situated.
So orange chicken seems to be a favorite. I know my daughter always ordered the orange chicken. Whenever we ordered Chinese food, she always wanted the orange chicken. I don't know if I was ever a fan of that. I don't know why. I think it was because it was breaded and deep fried. That's not it.
No.
I don't know. I like when I used to eat chicken, I like just the chicken. I didn't like it breaded and fried. It felt really heavy to me personally, but I know it was like a favorite. It's like a favorite. I think I have this in the intro. It's like Panda Express #1 requested American dish. But it's like, Chinese restaurants. It's a Chinese dish, and it's all over Chinese menus, and everybody loves it.
I love it, but you're right. That Panda Express, like that's where I used to eat it, and you're right. It's like heavy breading and really thick, gooey sauce, super sweet. It is good. I mean, I haven't had it in years, obviously, but that's what everyone loves is that that whole experience. But whenever you eat it, then you're just like, oh god, I shouldn't have eaten that. That was the problem with that.
I never ate it at Panda Express, but I can imagine what it was like, and I'm sure it was delicious. And I think I'm sure I tried it before, and my daughter eating it her whole life. But Phil had the idea of making it. And how did you come up with this idea? Did someone in the group suggest this? I can't remember.
I had it down, occasionally we'll throw it out there just to see what everyone's looking to make. I had it down just, again, I have kind of a mastered list of things. As I think, I'm like, oh, that'd be a good idea. And I just kind of create a list to do it. And then the list gets super long. But someone had put it on there, and I'm like, you know what? I had a soy curl. So sometimes I'll go on, I look for recipes and stuff and see who makes it one way. And then I kind of just pull everything in and what I think is going to taste. And that's kind of how I start the process. So I had started it, but I had never made it. I never tried it. A lot of times it's like, let me see what the authentic, again, someone will post like, whatever they call them, rip-off recipe for, Panda Express's orange chicken.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's see how they use it. It's like, all right, well, I can't use chicken, so I'm going to use soy curls. I can't use breading, so I'm not going to bread. So I go through no oil, replace this. So I'm just like visually replacing everything. And then it's like, let me see how other people make it. And I just kind of try to pull the best of the best, or what I think is going to taste the best. And then I run with that. And I'll run. That first run was like, wow, that was pretty darn good. That was one of those things. It was just like, man, holy smokes, that was great. So I just wanted to tweak it out a little bit from there, make some adjustments. But that's where it started. Like I had it down, and then someone posted like, what about orange chicken? It was like, yeah, what about orange chicken? That's in there.
Like, oh, I remember that was really good.
Yeah.
And so we use our soy curls. Well, we use our chicken style soy curls because it's typically chicken for orange chicken. But soy curls, if you haven't used them before, it's just They are just made from soybeans, 100% soybeans that are, processed a little bit. They're like cooked, broken down, and then like made into these little curls and dehydrated. Yeah. And so that's all they are. There's nothing added. That's it. And then you buy them in these little bags, and we buy them from Butler Company. They're in Oregon, and you can find them at certain places. You buy them at Pete's, right? Pete's Market.
Yeah, it was, and now I don't see that they carry them anymore. They had them for a while, like for a year or so, and now they're gone. Like I would buy them up
anywhere. I can't find them at the store, but maybe some people in the group can, because I've seen people post about it, but I can't find them. So I order Butler, or you can order them on Amazon, and because we do use them every now and then in our recipes, and I just like to make them sometimes on my own, just random things. And so I always have them in my pantry, but they're very easy to order, and they're healthy. They're good for you. They're beans, like I said, no additives. So we have a few different recipes for soy curls, and one of them is chicken style. So we add spices to make it taste like chicken. And the beauty of these things is when you rehydrate them with, some liquid, whatever it is, veggie broth, some tamari, some garlic, it tastes chickeny. And then when you pan sear them, they get really crispy around the edges. And then you just cook them just the right amount of time where they get crispy and chewy. And, that's what we want. We want that texture. It's like a meaty texture that we all love. Well, I shouldn't say we all, many of us love. I still love it. I don't eat meat anymore, but I do love that it's satisfying, and so that's what this is. It's chicken-like. So first we make those, and I have in the meal prep, you can make those ahead of time. Just keep them in your fridge, from whenever you want to make your orange chicken. And then we make this delicious orange sauce, which, well, we said we don't bread them or deep fry them. We just make this chicken soy curls. And then we make this orange sauce, which it's funny because this is Phil's recipe. So I made it a couple of times. And the first time I made it, this sauce cooks down and it caramelizes the way you want it. You want it orangey and sticky and really sweet and coating these things. And I could not get mine. We figured out why, but this is why we do the work, because we're testing this. And the way Phil wrote up the recipe, and then I tested it.
Judy's FaceTiming me with the pan. Right? She's like, "Is this right?" She's like, I'm looking at the pan.
Turning into a glaze. I said, "Mine is like orange juice." He's like, "Oh, it will." So I was like, okay. And then we figured out, I did it the wrong way. I had it in a saucepan, so I had this much of the liquid. Well, that is never going to glaze. You need to spread it out into a skillet. And the two of us figured that out. It's maybe I kept it in the skillet. And I was like, that makes sense. So I poured it all into the skillet in 2 seconds. Oh, I had a glaze. I was like, did you add more tapioca flour? He's like, I'm pretty sure that's right. So it is spot on, and you need to follow the recipe. Don't miss that step. Cook it in the same skillet you cook your soy curls in, because it has to kind of be spread out, and then it does take 15 to 20 minutes. So you
have to, the liquid has some of that vinegar has to kind of cook off, or some of the liquid has to cook off, and it'll start to reduce down and get kind of glazier and glazier as you go. And I mean, you stop at a certain point. If you keep going, I'm sure it'll get super sticky,
Well, you just know, you told me. I remember with the FaceTime, I was like, is that right? You're like, needs more. I'm like, is that right?
Give it a few.
It's never going. And then all of a sudden it gets to that point and you're like, that's it. You just know.
And again, you remember, because as you're stirring, the liquid comes together immediately. And then as it gets stickier, it gets slower and slower. And you can kind of see it. You scrape the spatula on the bottom and it slowly closes that gap, as you go. So it's
right. That's how you know. Exactly.
And as Jude said, you could do it in the same pan, not with the soy curls in. You heat the soy curls, take them out, put them in a dish, then start the glaze in that same pan, but not with the soy curls. You toss them in later, but you don't want to cook them in the sauce while the sauce is cooking.
No. And then, if you do cook them early, the soy curls, if you make them early, I have in the recipe to a large non-stick skillet. I want to make sure that you're using that to make this glaze. So and then you just toss the soy curls in, and then you add some green onions, and it is so delicious. You're gonna love it. I can't wait for the first person to post about that. Mom and Rich were like, "This is delicious."
I know. If you like orange chicken, I mean, if you are a fan, I mean, this is great. I mean, this is when
It's
I had it,
great.
I was like, wow, that is so
It
close.
is a showstopper. Good job. Oh
And
my god.
again, like, the idea when I'd eat that, it'd be like, oh, I feel horrible after, like then all that breading,
Right.
you're thinking like there's no eater's remorse. I was done. I was just like, there's maple syrup in this, there's the soy curls, there's really nothing else in there,
Like I always say, my daughter is so sick of me saying this, but like as I'm shoveling this down, I'm just like, I can't believe this is so good for me. It's the plant just, do you know there's no oil in this? It's not deep fried. And she's like, this is delicious. And she's the one who loved the deep fried, oily version. She's like, I love this, Mom. It's just like, this is what we're trying to do. It's like, this just makes me so happy that we actually are doing it. So making people healthier.
That one is,
And giving them the food they love. Okay, next.
can you see that?
Oh yeah.
No, sorry.
Okay.
All I can see is that.
This one is, we called it veggie pho. And for those of you who know this Vietnamese, dish, I guess it's called pho. But that just sounds so strange to me.
It sounds so funny, not phony.
Funny. It's hard to say pho because it sounds like half of a word. I feel like something's missing. I don't know. It's just too funny to say, so I'm just gonna say pho. It looks like it's spelled pho. I'm gonna call it.
I'll just say it wrong.
I'm gonna still say it wrong.
That's American ignorance at its finest.
I even wrote in the intro, rhymes with dough.
And I'm just gonna say Satan.
No, no, that's right. You say Satan.
That's what I just said. Say
Satan.
Yeah, you say Satan. I say Satan.
Oh, I know.
All right, back to your pho.
Okay, my pho is a Vietnamese soup, and it's all about the broth. So traditionally, I think I'm just kind of learning about this too. I love Thai food. I love Chinese food. I'm not like a big Vietnamese connoisseur, put it that way. I love the taste of it, but I just don't have a lot of experience in it, but I do love pho. Pho. I've had it before and many times, but I just love the flavor of this broth. So I do know it's all about making like a delicious broth, and then it's noodles. So it's like noodles and broth. And if you go to a Vietnamese restaurant, you get like the bowl of noodles with broth, and then all these toppings that you get to put in. And it's all about these toppings. I mean, look at that beautiful bowl. Just like with Thai food, it's all about, this is what I love about it. It's all about like the savory, satisfying noodles and everything in the bowl and the broth, and then all these crunchy toppings, and then that like squirt of lime, all these fresh herbs. I mean, that's what really makes this dish. So if you just make the noodles and the broth and you're like, okay, I'm not going to add all that, it's really not the idea of the dish. So I'm just suggesting, if you make it, try to stay true to the ingredients. And even for me, like, I'm not the biggest mint fan, but when you add just that hint of fresh mint, it just adds something. It's like you, Phil, with the peanut tacos. Remember? Yep. You're like, cilantro and the peanut. What? These aren't tacos. But when you tried it, it became one of your favorite dishes.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, expand your horizons. Try something new. It might sound weird to you because it sounded weird to me, like mint. I don't know if I want to put mint in this. I don't like mint, like mint tea. What? But then, or a squirt of lime sounds kind of weird, maybe. But when you try all of this together, it's so good. And it's like you mix it all up and you have that like savory broth. Even the broth. Okay, well, so you have, go ahead.
No, that's what I was going to say. Like that broth. So when I used to make this, I would just use, like a veggie broth or, mushroom broth and throw some, garlic and some onions. I never really cooked a lot with like star anise and cardamom pods and that cinnamon. It's like, oh, cinnamon in a soup or whatever, like all those spices where when you cook like Vietnamese or even Indian, you're using all these spices that I was just not familiar with growing up. I mean, we had so much just basic stuff. That's, then when you start cooking, it's like, oh my God, that's the difference. Like I would never put cloves and star anise and soup. It like sounds so weird to me. It's just like
going back hundreds and hundreds of years.
They got it down.
And here's me, like not a chef, going cinnamon sticks. I don't think so.
I know. But
Oh, I
that's
say that.
that's the difference. So, and sometimes you can make these fairly quickly with just that right combination of spices. I mean, when you cook it and let it simmer a while and they really start kind of coming together and coming out, yeah, it really gets more depth of flavor. But in the end, it's like, you know what, the right amount, just you could cook these things pretty quick. You still get that kind of that super flavorful next level soup, and it's like,
Yes.
wow, that's the difference between like making a mushroom broth and making like the soup using like some of those different spices like that. And that's
You're
really
right.
opened my eyes.
And it's the depth of flavor. Exactly. And that's what this Vietnamese cooking is all about. It's like you start with these whole spices that like a lot of us haven't even heard of. And when I think of whole cloves, what do you think of? I think of ham. Like
Yeah,
grandma's
that
ham.
are cigarettes from the 80s. Clove cigarettes.
Right. But our grandma used to put, and my mom did it too. Whole clove does it. Put whole cloves stuck in the ham. That's all I know about whole cloves. So when I saw that for a faux recipe, I was like, whole cloves. Okay. I'm just going to go with it because I never really made it myself before. But yeah, so once you do that, it's all about building the depth of flavor. And so you toast them, you throw them in a dry pan, all these crazy whole spices that you may not have heard of.
Get it moving.
And you just toast them and it brings out the flavor. And then you add the broth. And then when you simmer it, this is what you do. You put like a whole onion chopped up into quarters, a garlic and ginger, and you simmer it for 20 minutes. Think about that. That's building all this flavor in the broth. And it's all about the broth. That's what the soup is. And then you toss those. You toss out all that. And that's what I wanted to say. I hope it's clear in the recipe. We're just using the spices and the aromatics, the garlic, ginger, and onion, just for the broth. And you toss it. I mean, Mom watched me make this, and she was like, can't you cut up that onion and throw it in? It's like, well, you can, but that's not traditional. So feel free to do that. It's just going to add flavor. But we made it sort of traditional where you just make the broth. And then the noodles, which are just brown rice noodles, which are delicious. It's like a real slurpy soup. So it's like you need a spoon and chopsticks or a fork. And then, like I said, all those fresh herbs, once you throw those in, I mean, look at that. It's like crunchy and just so fresh and delicious, the whole combination.
I gotta say, we didn't get shopping today, and now it's dinner time, and all this
You're hungry.
So good.
You're like, sure wish I had a bowl of fun.
Tell Mom early, don't worry, we'll get to the store. Well, I'll put together what I'm going to make this week. I'll make a bunch of food. It's just like we didn't. Today got out of hand. Whatever, just got busy, and we never got to the store. And I was like, now I'm looking at all this great stuff, and it's like, oh man, I'm getting hungry.
Wish I had some pho.
Looks awesome.
It's really good.
Oops, wrong way. There we go.
Okay, and this one might look similar. I was a little bit worried that like the photos look a lot alike, but they're completely different. Completely. Yeah. It's just a Chinese dish, and lo mein, if you don't know, it just means stirred noodles. It's just like a noodle dish. So that's not a soup. That's a bowl of noodles. And let's see, just to refresh my memory here. Yeah, so this sauce is so good. And Julie came up with this one. It's like a lo mein sauce. And this is what I love about learning from a chef like Julie and trying new things. Like we're developing these recipes because I wouldn't think to add tahini and make like a creamy sauce or a stir fry. It's not in my realm. I wouldn't have thought of it, but she did it and I followed and I was like, okay, it's like a creamier sauce. So that's like a typical lo mein flavors. It is to die for. I made this for Mom and Rich and they loved it. I just made it the other night again. We ate the entire thing. We were like licking the pan. We were. If Mom's there, she'll tell you. So it's just. Oh, and the other thing I want to say about this, which is so cool too, that Julie does. She has like specific time measurements down for these veggies. So what you need to do is you need to do your mise en place and get all your veggies ready. Because sometimes I have a tendency to like want to do that. And then at the last second, I'm like, oh, I have to get this. You're stopping the cooking. Don't do that. Get everything ready. Because if you see in the recipe, they're timed for a reason. It's like you add the onions for 2 minutes. If you follow this, it's spot on. Add the onions for 2 minutes. Add the celery, snow peas, and water chestnuts for 1 minute. Add the bok choy for another minute. Because what we're doing is cooking them so they're like crisp tender. So you don't have a bunch of mush when you're done. you have perfectly cooked because the onions take longer than the bok choy. You know, it's like all in steps. And I thought, throwing celery in at the last minute, like I'm not the biggest celery fan, but it is so good in this. And I don't even love celery that much. I do in certain things, but you know, I
like
don't have
celery in dishes like this, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of
I
celery
wouldn't
cooking
think
stuff.
that and I even see the celery in the shot, and I wouldn't think I liked celery. Like I don't like a strong celery flavor, but I don't know. In this dish with that sauce and the crunch, the way it's timed, it's so awesome. So I really hope everyone tries this one and follows the steps because the crisp tender is really good.
And that's a lot of it because as when I cook, a lot of times I'll just cook. It's like I do try it now. I try to. So what I used to do is just throw everything in: mushrooms, onions, garlic. Throw it all in. It's like, oh, the garlic's burning. How come the onions are still crisp? The mushrooms really aren't cooked. That's part of it, is kind of learning how some of these vegetables cook when you're doing it to get to that stage. And sometimes it's like, well, it takes a little bit longer to do sometimes, or it's just a few more steps, but in the end it's worth it. It's just like, okay, now I have it, I get it, so now I do. So like when I do use celery, usually I throw that in first, or carrots. I want carrots are harder, they're going to take a little longer, let me throw those in. Then I'll throw the celery in because I want that to cook long. Same thing, it's like step after step after step. It's like, don't rush it, just do it the right way and you'll be happy in the end, rather than like, well, I can get it quicker if I throw everything in it at one time.
No, and right, and that's what is so fun for me, because like we keep saying, we're not chefs. I mean, I feel like we're pretty good, darn good cooks, but we're not chefs. So I didn't learn all this stuff about timings ever. Even in my plant-based cooking class, I didn't really learn some of this stuff. But following Julie and her steps really, really helps. And it really is fun because then I learned something. And I recently just learned this, even though I always throw bok choy into my, I don't know, I feel like in our miso soup, like we have it in a couple of our recipes, I feel like I always saute it first, or I think of bok choy as like such a hearty green, like, oh, that needs a lot of cooking. You know what? In this pho, you just throw it in 5 minutes, it's done. Did you know that? I never knew that. You just simmer it for 5 minutes in soup and it's perfect. Like that is really fun to learn. And that's why our meal planners are becoming better cooks, because once you learn that, then it's like, oh my gosh, bok choy cooks in soup for 5 minutes. Perfect.
Yeah, I know. I usually throw any kind of greens like that. Well, so like with bok choy, I also use the stems, which I kind of cook like celery. They're thicker. They're the white parts of bok choy. So I cut that up like celery, and they come in nice little half moons. And I like they're not super flavorful, but I do like cutting those in. But like the leafy greens, I always kind of throw in at the end because they cook fast. And I actually like them like brighter green. Like when you're throwing in greens like that, I like when they're like bright still.
Yeah, like the first time I made the pho, I cooked it. It turned brown. I cooked it a long, long time. Yeah. But I was testing, and then I learned 5 minutes. It's still bright green. The white part's cooked because you put like the whole thing in. I mean, you slice it in quarters, but it's not like that. Like you were saying,
right. Yeah, I'm talking about if I did it in stir fries or other dishes. I'm talking about, but
yeah, but I couldn't even believe how quickly it cooked after a few tests. I'm like, it was done in 5 minutes. It's still bright green.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome and fun.
Yeah, and bok choy is not something I ever really cooked with before. Now I love it, and it's just like, oh, I've had like tofu scrambles with bok choy and stir fries and soups. It's like, yeah, throw it in, man. Get some good greens in there. It's I love the flavor. It's great.
It's really good.
All right, so we got the meal plan covered. So just what was I going to say?
It's time to use the coupon on the site for a discount.
Well, you can't. Well, I wanted to mention. I was going to mention that. I think this is a little out of order. So I was going to say. So we do have the group starting on Monday. There's still time to get in. I mean, today is Friday. I know I was still setting up accounts. I was still sending out some emails. There was a handful of people just joined today, and I had been gone, and I'd playing catch up a little bit. So again, the group is just a kind of a fun thing to do. If you're thinking about doing the Kickstart, it's just a kind of a fun way to kind of go through, but there still is time. If you do join the group, as you join, let me know that you want to be part of the group. I do send an email out, but I don't know if you join the Kickstart now, if you're going to do it on your own, or if you're planning on doing the group. There's no way for me to know. So if you do want to do the group, I can send you the group email, or you could just show up on Monday to our private group and you're part of that group. There's no special links or special invitation. I just send out kind of a welcome email that says like, hey, you're part of the New Year's resolution group. And, we start on Monday, and click the button, and, kind of just a walkthrough. But there's still time to get in if you want. You have to, if you haven't done it already, read the day. We call it day 0, which is kind of a before you begin, which tells you how to prep and what to buy. You have your grocery list and everything. And on Monday, it's not like you log in for the first time and you're starting that day. Monday, you should have already read the lesson, got ready to go, did your shopping, prepped a few things, and you're kind of ready to start on Monday with your meals, and things are ready to go. So if you have any questions, you can post them in the group about that. So again, we've gone on for 45 minutes.
Yeah, we always say we're going to go quickly, and we can't stop talking.
Get talking. So just let's. I don't even know. Do I have? I don't think I have the caption topic, because I don't think we were gonna. Let me see. Do I? No. The topic is still Christmas holiday. Here, let me do this. Hang on. Give me 1 second. Topic is. Let's see.
New Year's resolutions.
There we go. Did I spell it right? It's hard for me to see here. Let's see.
Resolutions.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so I just thought we'd just touch on this, and we don't have to talk too much. We kind of started the show with New Year's resolutions anyway, but so I do try to do something, set some goals, do some stuff. So mine, again, I've always struggled with my weight. I'm still, even though I'm down quite a bit from when I started, even eating plant-based, I always feel like I can do a little bit more. I'm still always kind of on that quest to lose a little more weight. I know we are eating a lot of food. The volume goes up. I am always happy that, and I told you this before, I always feel like sometimes I'm out of control. Like, we're testing stuff, especially with the Thanksgiving menu. I was testing stuff. I told my sister, I am done with calzone for a while. I made 5 calzones. A company that was coming had to cancel because of COVID stuff. And I was like, man, I got 5 calzones to eat. So I'm eating it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But in the end,
we make these over and over, and we do get sick of them. I don't know. Frank never gets sick of what I cook, but
you get burned out.
I made the pho. I made it 4 or 5 times, and he was like lapping it up, and I'm like, I cannot even look at that anymore. It's delicious, but you can't eat it night after night after night.
You get burned out a little bit sometimes.
You burned out on it, yeah.
But my point is, I feel like sometimes it's man, I'm eating so much now, and it's I'm in the heels of Thanksgiving. There was the Christmas menu, and then the weeks in between, we're just testing and tasting, and just a lot going on, especially with kind of those, when there's 3 meals, it's not bad. Sometimes we break them up. Sometimes we both have them. Yeah. With Thanksgiving and Christmas, it was just man, there's a lot of food. It's we each have a lot to eat and go through and tweak. But either way,
rich food too, I
just jumped on the scale the other day, and it's just all right, I'm
good.
Nothing's changed. And again, I'm always hoping there's less, but I always, after something like this, it's oh, what's it going to be? I probably gained 5, maybe 10 pounds, and it's not, I was 1 pound up from before, we started at Thanksgiving. It's just I feel like I'm out of control with all the volume. And again, there wasn't all these Christmas parties, but we did have Thanksgiving. We did have Christmas. We did have kind of a birthday party for my mom when they got into town. And there was just a lot of food and, all that stuff. So with New Year's coming up, I'm my resolution or my goals. I got a jump rope for Christmas. I wanted to start skipping rope. I like skipping rope. To me, it always seemed like a weird thing, skipping rope, but I'm actually pretty good at it. And it's funny, my uncle,
you and Uncle Bill.
he's 86 or 85.
No.
Yeah. So he was just telling me last week when they were in last time, he said, I started skipping rope. I'm like, oh, that's great. And he's like, yeah, I started slow. I wanted to see maybe I can do 50, 50 skips would be great. He's like, so I'm skipping and I got 50, and it's I could probably do 100. He's like, so then I kept it going. I'm doing 100. It's man, if I do 100, I could probably do 2. He's like, and then I hit 200, and it's man, what if I got to 5? He's like, he got up to 1,200 skips, and he's like, and then I blew my knee out. He's like, I'll never skip rope again. So I'm like, oh, you just pushed it. So I'm like, you're 86. What are you doing? You're skipping 1,000 skips. I'm like,
it does sound like him now. Wait, speak of the devil, here he is.
There he is. Yeah, with my grandma and my mom. Yeah.
Wait, can you see it? It's kind of glary. Oh, that's better.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's a great guy. I just saw him yesterday. He was in town. He flew into Miami, and he came in to say hello. He stopped by last night. So he didn't come in for Christmas, and it was great to see him. It was awesome to see him.
That's our mom and grandma.
we caught up. Yeah, but there, yeah, my grandma lived till she was 93. My uncle's 86. He's skipping rope. My mom's, 82. She's,
Grandma
down
went
here.
parasailing at 82, remember?
Yeah, right. I just saw that picture.
82 sounds so much younger now, though. I
She
don't
was
know.
in her, I think was she in her 80s when when her mom went to Africa? Maybe her
Yeah.
late 70s.
No. She was in her 80s.
Was she
Yeah.
in her 80s? They traveled. They went to Paris. They went to Poland. Like just a lot of like longevity and like a lot of active. I mean, it was awesome to see. And then I always think like, what if Grandma's like plant based for like you like where would she have been? Like because she had some health issues at the end there, but in the end.
Right.
And whatever. I was just talking to Unc last night because he said like he was here, and I don't want to talk about his health issues, but he said like I have to give up like fatty foods. He's like I'm gonna he's like meat and stuff. He's like I don't eat a lot of meat anyway, so it's not a big deal. He's like but cheese, that's gonna be a hard one. I'm like but Unc, like just think I said this is what we're doing here. It's like I said have Maurice, you guys are on the plan. Make more of the food, like just get involved, make more stuff. You won't miss
everything I made when they were here. They were
really right. So. That's the whole thing.
Well, they said if you were here cooking for us, we can do this.
Yeah, right. But that's half of it is just learning that it's not that big of a deal, step by step. Like you're saying with those noodles. Follow the directions and you're there. That's like, wow, I cooked this meal. It's like, I mean, a lot of the stuff, I'm like, man, this is like restaurant style food with no oil, with no, like, and you're right. And it is hard not to eat that and then have that kind of opinion. Like, wow, this is awesome. It's like,
no, it's so
this
hard.
is awesome. So that is fun. That's a fun, thing when that happens. So more exercise. I mean, I'm going to definitely try and get back. My treadmill broke, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but it's like, man, in the winter in Chicago, there's no way I'm going out in 30-degree weather, 20-degree weather and walking 7 miles or anything like that. So I will try to get the treadmill fixed and walk. I definitely plan on skipping some rope and maybe doing some stuff. My son, who's 17, he played soccer his whole life. Whatever. I keep trying to tell him he's like 6'1", and he's like 40 pounds, 160 pounds, real thin. I'm just like, dude, if you ate better and worked out, like you would be ripped, you'd be cut. Like, I mean, I keep trying to talk him into it. So the other day he came up from the basement and he had like the exercise wheel. He had like some bands and a rope, and he comes up, he had like Christmas pajama pants on. I'm like, what were you doing? He's like, working out. But I'm like, man, it's so great to see. I'm like, because I told him last year, I'm like, if you want to work out, like I'll work out with you. Like let's inspire each other. And he's just not into it. He sleeps in and then he eats, garbage when he wakes up, and then he goes out with his friends. And, it's just like, all right, well, I'm doing it. Like if you want to join me, I'd be more than happy to like get involved. Like we can inspire each other. So now I'm hoping like he gets on board and we can do that together.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So the last ones I have. So exercise, again, I'm going to try and focus on my weight and lose a few more pounds. Meditation, I'm always trying to keep that up. It's one of those things that fall behind. You get busy. It's like, I'm going to skip it today. And then it turns into 3 days and then 5 days. And it's like, geez, I didn't even meditate this week. And when I do it over and over, it's like, man, I see benefits. I feel better. I feel, like it just adds so much to my week. And it's like, man, I have to do that more.
I was just in a meditation where the guide was saying, like, do this consecutively. That's what matters. Right. Like consecutively, and you're actually retraining your brain. Think about like it's your brain taking a break from thinking, because you're thinking about one thing, like whatever, the breathing and your breath, like you're in the moment, which gives your brain a chance to quiet. And that's what we need. And once you do that repetitive, like every single day consecutively, your brain gets used to that now.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. You're like retraining your brain to be calm. And I know, to me, I'm such a hardhead. I was always like not against meditation. I just never gave it a second thought up until recently, like a couple of years ago, because I just thought, if I'm going to take this time, I'm just like a go person, which I don't like about myself, but I am. So it's like, if I'm going to take this time, I'm going to be exercising, I'm going to be like walking, or I'm going to be doing yoga, or I can't just sit and not think, but it like sunk in that like, that's what I need, because I'm such a go person. I need to slow down, and I'm actually retraining my brain and like listen to all the people there that say this works. I was like, why was I fighting it for so long?
Well, we live in such a like a now I want it now society. Even like with weight loss, it's like, all right, I'm going to go on a diet. Day one, I didn't lose 10 pounds. This isn't working. Well, of
Yeah,
course, it's not going to work. You got to do it consecutively. It will kick in, and you will see the results. And that's I thought the same thing about meditation. It's the same
yeah,
thing. It's like, well, I could be walking, I could be listening to a podcast instead, and like getting
right,
something more out of it. And it's like, no, just do it. Just give yourself a couple of weeks and just try it. Try to hit it every
right.
day. And yeah, and then I definitely start seeing the benefits, and it's like then
Mhm.
I look forward to it. It's like I'm going to meditate. It's
I
like
know.
ah, it's nice. It's just a nice
And
break.
it's nice because it's that quiet time, and especially if
Yeah,
you like the voice of the person, which I found a couple
yeah.
that I really like, and it's almost like I look forward to that time with her, or him. It's like, okay, take me
I,
back to that
I
time.
know. I listen to Michael Seeley.
Oh, you do? Oh, I gotta write that one down.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, it's
I
very
like that.
soothing. That's
Very
part of it, but yeah.
soothing.
And
I
I do
love
like guided meditation. I like to just
that. Me
listen to the talk, and they do like anti-stress, anti-anxiety, for sleep, for this. But it's just like, oh,
too. Right.
great. And sometimes it's 10 minutes. Sometimes like I'll do it for an hour. It's just like, all right, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I'll do the sleep meditation and like try to catch like an hour long nap, because sometimes I do have trouble like going back to sleep when I wake up. And I know that about
Yeah.
myself. So it's like, man, if I can catch that extra hour in the afternoon by meditating and sometimes I don't even know if I'm sleeping or just meditating, because I'll literally wake up at the hour mark and it's like, oh, it's over. And it's
You're
like, was I
soothing.
sleeping or was I just I can't figure it out. It's like, whatever it was, like I feel great.
I like the state I was in. I don't
Yeah,
know
right.
what it
And
was, but
that's
I was
what's crazy.
going.
It's almost like I was hypnotized. And it's like sometimes I
Yeah,
can't tell if it was meditation or just I
I
fell
love that
asleep.
feeling.
But it's like, how can I wake up like right at the end though? Like it's very
That's a
strange,
good
feeling.
feeling.
It is. It's great.
Right. Because they bring you out of it, almost like you're
Yeah.
hypnotized.
So what about you? So and also I'm going to try and read more. I try to do that. And again, like the first three are all about, I don't know, I guess reading's a bit of mental health, but like I look at the three as like I'm trying to do something for myself. Reading I look as
Yeah.
like, well, it's just a hobby, like an extracurricular activity. But I definitely like books are piling up and I start them and I don't finish. And it's like I got to get back to those books. I have like 8 books I started and I never finished. And it's like, oh God, I got to get back.
Well, our mom and grandma, they were readers. They are readers. And it's like we were
Wow.
around books our whole lives. They're always reading, reading, reading. And we both picked up the habit early,
Yeah.
I think, like in our teens. And I always love having a book. And I fall in and out of it where Frank and I both do it. We read, read, read so much. Like just recently, I was on all summer, I was on a reading spree. And now I don't know. It's been like a month or two where it's like, I'm just struggling with it. Like I didn't finish 2 books. And I'm like, I read a couple of chapters, I fall asleep. So, but yeah, it's a great thing I love that. Like just having it's like a little fantasy world that you go into,
You're
it's
right.
another
Yeah.
escape, it's
Yeah.
like it's just a fun little escape. So
Yeah. No,
that's
I
a
hear
good
you.
one to have on your list.
So what do you got on your list for
So
this
for
year?
me, I was thinking about this. Well, I really love a morning routine. And I know everyone kind of has a morning routine, but like for me, I like to make it a real routine, like not just, get up, do this, do that. I I do that. I just kind of get up and get myself going, but I have spurts where I actually stick to it. And I think what I need to do is like get to bed a little bit earlier. I love the days where I go to bed early and I get up really early. Let's say 5. To me, that's early. To you, it's not so
I
early.
call that every night.
Yeah,
I go to
he
bed
gets
early. I
up
get up at
super
night.
early naturally. For me, getting up at 5, I think that's realistically early for me.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I like the like serenity of the morning quiet. The older I get, the more I like quiet mornings. And so I want to make a morning ritual where it's like a routine where I stick to it. And it's like I know that just like meditation, I think like that gets me more balanced. It's like I like to do certain things in the morning. Like, well, another one of mine is like I want to drink more tea in the morning because I go in and out of this. Like I drink a lot of tea and then I drink some coffee. And I do like coffee. I'm not going to quit coffee, but I want to drink more tea and make like the tea more of my morning too. Cause I don't know, something about tea is really calming for me. I like the taste of tea. It just makes me feel like I'm putting something good in my body. It's warm, it's soothing. And so I want to do like the tea. I want to do like what I like to do is meditate first thing. I like to meditate right when I wake up. And then I like to do some sort of exercise. If I don't do it in the morning, I'm not an afternoon exerciser. I'm definitely not a night exerciser, like after work. I like to do it in the morning and then shower and get ready for my day. So my best days are when I have my whole morning working out great, exercise, shower, and then I'm ready to start my day, let's say by like 8. After I did my whole morning routine, and that's like my work day, let's just say, or even 7 would be ideal, but I don't think I can do that. But anyway, yeah, so that, like, I'm not going to do all this every day. Again, with my resolutions, I don't want to like do it where I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do this. I'm going to write my journal. I don't want to, but I can't, I know I'm not going to stick to that. So another part of my, my resolution is to not be so hard on myself. Like, I just want to be lighter on myself. Like, I'm not going to, feel bad about myself if I stop some of these things. I'm just going to do my best, and I'm trying to be like easier on myself. Like, you did your best. You're the progress, or the good thing is you're working at these. You're trying your best. So that's all. I'm not going to be hard on myself. If I fail, I won't look at it as a failure. But anyway, I'm going to spread this out a little bit. Like, I want to do some yoga one day. And so I have this supernatural, I don't know if anybody has tried this yet, but I saw this online and I bought it, and it's like this virtual reality workout. It's called like Quest 2. And so you put on this virtual reality and you can do yoga, and you are like transported to all these wonderful places around the world. And you could, it's like a workout. So you're like moving your body. I haven't even tried it yet. It's under the Christmas tree because we're going to like start it as a family, all of us. But, hopefully I'll burn some calories and I'll get my cardio up doing that a couple of times a week. I want to do yoga a few times a week, stretching, meditation. So I want that morning routine to be solid, because that makes me feel more solid,
Sure. Yeah.
And I also am constantly working on myself, because I feel like, eating right, sleeping right, exercising, it makes me, meditating, reading even, makes me feel more balanced. And it's like, I want to really try, and I know I'm not going to be perfect at it, but the more I work at these things about making me the best me that I can be, I'm better for my daughter. I'm a better partner. I'm a better sister. I'm a better daughter. It's like,
how can you be a better sister than you are?
I don't know. But like, if I'm the best me, then I'm better for everybody. And if I have bad days too, where I, fall off all of this stuff, and then I just feel out of sorts. And it's like, I can't even show up for my people when I'm all out of sorts,
Right.
I want to be the best me I can be. And I'm just going to work on it,
Awesome.
Do the best I can at it.
That's all we can ask for. It's all we can do. Best we can, right?
Yes. And the only other thing, I want to hang out with my girlfriends more, because I feel like I've been just focused on work a lot, and with COVID, being inside, and I just feel like I'm needing like my friends more. And I'm not one, I'm not the social planner. Like, I follow along when people have parties and get-togethers. I'm like, yes, of course I'll be there, but I need to be more proactive about scheduling these things, like bringing people to me. And so I'm going to work on that with my friends.
Awesome.
And family.
Yes. I hope I get invited to some of those parties.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it.
All right, everybody. We appreciate everyone tuning in. We got a lot going. I mean, we did. It wasn't a short show.
We just can't do it, can we?
Start talking, I guess.
We were like, we'll make it like 15 minutes. We'll just do a quick one.
Well, and that's what's great. And I know, like, going into it, when you called, I'm like, holy cow, what time is it? You're like, we have like 20 minutes. And I was like, should we cancel? Should we not? And it's like, let's just get it done. We'll do it quick. But in the end, right, you start talking, and like, now I feel like 100% better than I did before we started, because I didn't want to come on and be a drag and be like, oh, I had all this stuff, whatever. But like, now it like kind of turns things around. I'm going to shower and get ready, and like, we're going to have to go shopping and get cooking and whatnot. But it did kind of turn my day around, and that's what I do look forward to. So it's like, I got to remember this kind of thing, because it's just like everything else. It's easy to say like, I'm not going to do that. I'll exercise tomorrow. We'll do that next week. Let's put it off. But
that is true. And I was the one who was trying to put the kibosh on it, because I thought you had too much going on down there. And I was like, we don't have to do the live show. And he's like, nope, we're sticking to it.
You were really trying to talk me out.
Yes.
because you didn't think I wanted to do it. Well, we appreciate everyone watching. Again, we're starting the group on Monday. So if you're in part of that Kickstart group, we can look forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll do a kickoff video, or not kickoff, in the sometime in the afternoon. I'll be here still, so it's going to be a little touch and go, but I'll definitely log on and do something. Judy will be making a daily post for that. It's still time to get in. So if you want to get in the Kickstart, we got a huge group. If you are in the Kickstart, post, interact. It makes it all fun. Meal planners, keep posting your photos. It's great to see all those photos, making the new stuff, making the old stuff. We'd love to see all that stuff.
I'm going to do the pizza crust hopefully this weekend. Hopefully some people will make the orange chicken. We'll see that.
Yeah, awesome. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Be safe tonight. It's New Year's Eve. Have a great New Year's, and we'll see everybody in the new year, huh?
Happy New Year.
2022. Looking forward to it.
New Year,
Everybody
bro.
here. All right. So talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay.